Good morning. Today is January 23rd, 2025. And yesterday we had a more grinding day. And we started with a gap and it slowly started getting to our target. We had that big volume node that I mentioned, and it went right to it. Then it got to that untested point of control, 6136 to the tick. You can see the high of the day was like right there, one tick below it. And today, after the close, we started moving slowly down, got inside that gap, didn't quite feel it. We went to about half of that gap. And we are opening now with inventory 100% short from yesterday's close. And what we want to look at today is there's three options, right? One is we accept back inside yesterday's value, right? So we have to monitor that 6120 level. If we start putting volume here, you start seeing buyers show up and spend time there, then the target becomes yesterday's point of control at 6126 and yesterday's value area high at 6131.75. And then from there, look to see if we can have a little bit more buyers continuing the move and breaking above yesterday's high, and see if in that case watch this 6140. So that's going to be a little bit of resistance below. Above that, then the target becomes 6155 right here, this high volume node. Now the second option is that we just do nothing and we just hang here. I doubt it, because we might do that at the beginning of the day, but then Trump is going to be speaking. So every time Trump talks, it affects the market. See, he likes to say stuff that affects the market. So we might get a move at 11 a.m. He's speaking. But then the third scenario is that we stay below yesterday's low, right? Like I'm gonna come here. We stay below yesterday's low. We come back below this 6109 level, and then sellers start attempting to fill the gap. We have an untested point of control that we kind of skipped through on the RTH, and we left that gap. So then at that point, the gap fill becomes what everybody's going to be looking at. In this market, the shorts have been difficult, so just be aware that if we start seeing sellers, we're going to see probably lots of absorption of the sellers, which has been a common theme lately. But if we do get order flow to the downside, 6093 is the gap fill. And then in here is, even though we have the N and the O period, right, which is the extended periods, the actual high, the RTH high is here, right, at 6087, below those single prints. So, I want to see that 6087 accepting in order for me to think that there's going to be more downside back into the 6082, right? And if you look at the longer time frame chart, even though this pink volume has a lot of volume, the gray volume is the last few days, and this we just skipped through, right? So this is considered a low volume now, right? This is support now. So before, we just moved pretty quickly through here because this was where traders saw that this was already traded through. So now it's, it became, we moved through it pretty quickly. But now we just left this single print there. So this move down is likely not going to be that easy, at least for now. Now, that always remember what I say is it's not the truth. It's just what should happen. But then at the end of the day, order king is what dictates how we move. And then from here, it's the same thing that I mentioned yesterday, right? You want to see a move through value, and value in this case, because this is a double distribution, I see this as two separate sessions. So this 1 to 60.75, then the single prints, this area is going to be support, and then if it breaks, then we're going to see likely a move down to the 60.61 area, and then a retest of the previous week's high at 60.51. And Q is, as I mentioned earlier, is weaker, is having trouble getting back inside yesterday's range. So watch if we start moving higher, we want to see a move into the upper distribution, right? You can see it better here. So I want to see us back above 21,945 in order for this distribution to be tested on the upper side. And then we have value, which is above the overnight high, above the overnight open. So we need to clear this high of the overnight high of the overnight, and then from there, then I'm gonna look for a move back through value 22.20 and then 22.50 as the target for value area high. And then below that gap, below the overnight low, the gap fills at 21,783.50. And then from there, then look at that. So if we fill that gap for NQ, then NQ is going to be inside this distribution. And I think from there, it's going to be a quick move down to 21,730-ish. And then back down to retest the previous week's high. I think this, if we do fill the gap on NQ, this move's going to be pretty fast. So because NQ is weaker, in the case that we start moving down, I would like to trade NQ on the short side rather than ES, that I think is a little stronger and it has more chances of that move being kind of grindy because of what I shared earlier. Crude is still holding, like made a new low by a few ticks and then came back to that point of control, the 20-day point of control. So it's still holding in this area. So I like longs in this area back to 75.80, 75.78. And shorts in this area from 76.50 to 75.80. So, in fact, I'm gonna set some alerts to look for trades in those areas. And then gold. Like I said yesterday, it's still on an uptrend channel. And then it's the 20. Remember yesterday I said that the 20-day point of control was likely to shift up here. It did. So now it looks like we're establishing a new range between 2,800 and 2,700. So watch this to become the new range where we are accepting. And remember, Trump speaking at 11. Set an alarm for that. Hey Siri, remind me at 11 a.m. that Trump is speaking.
Okay, I added Trump as speaking for this morning at 11 a.m.